Hey folks, Pat here from DNS. This Madison area fishing report is current as of November 4th. Before we get started, a little bit of news. Last week I had reported that the city had pulled all the piers from the boat launches around town. They went back in on Friday last week, and put the pier back in at Warner, and they got a list here of places on their website where there are still piers in that will remain in through late November. So that's great news. Big thanks to the Parks Department for putting piers back in so anglers can access the water, because we all know that fall is a great time to be out fishing. They also have posted their 2023 launch fees here. Looks like the annual fee for a Dane County resident is $50. I believe that's up. I think it was just $40 this year. I could be wrong though. They also have a military veteran discount here too, for $25. So that's pretty cool. Other permit information available here on their website, so check that out. And yeah, big thanks to the Parks Department for putting the pier back in, especially at Warner here for us on the north side. I guess a little bit of shop news. We wanted to remind everybody that we will be closed November 12th through the 25th. That's something that Gene did for many, many years, and we're just continuing that tradition. Deer hunting is an especially slow time here at the shop, and it's a nice chance for us to get away and enjoy some time in the woods. So good luck to all the hunters. Happy Thanksgiving, and I'll remind everybody of this next week too, but just want to keep it top of folks' minds. We also have more and more ice fishing stuff going up every day. Got put some line up yesterday. Some other things are going up today, so stay tuned for more of that. As far as the report goes, we had a gorgeous temperatures this last week, temps in the 60s and 70s. Looks like some rain pushing in today here. Not supposed to start until about noon, but Saturday looks pretty swampy. Sunday looks pretty nice though, with temps 61 I think I saw for a high, and rain moving out. Also have decent temps into next week. Looks like the cool down doesn't really set in until maybe Friday next week, so still some opportunities to get out there and enjoy the nice fall fishing we've got here. I guess the buoy out here recording the water temps read 53 degrees all the way down. That's been constant now since the lake turned over a couple weeks ago. Generally around the chain, the weeds are starting to come down. Shallow water continues to be good for all species, but still some walleyes hanging out on mid-lake humps. Up here to Cherokee, like I mentioned, weeds are starting to come out of there, so fishing is improving. Well, I should say casting is improving. From what I've been hearing, this fishing is actually kind of slowed up a little bit here. The pike just aren't up there in the numbers that they were, and largemouth bass are fewer and farther between, but that'll change. We'll get some panfish starting to move up in there, getting ready for winter here, and there's bound to be some pike moving in there with them. Down to 113 here, we have still a good catfish bite down there, and some decent walleyes coming out of there recently. Also some perch and some crappies mixed in occasionally as those fish kind of move through there. Out on Mendota, the perch bite has been a tough one. There's a lot of perch out there, some good numbers, folks marking a lot of fish, but they don't seem to be in the mood to bite too much. A lot of smaller fish are the ones that folks are catching, a lot of 4-inchers, but there are some nicer fish mixed in if you can find them. Weed lines continue to be a pretty good place to start for those fish. Speaking of the weed lines, there are also some good gills still being caught out there where you can find weeds. And the walleye bite on Mendota has really been the biggest news out here lately. Been hearing about walleyes being caught all over, mostly shallow, but still, like I mentioned, out on mid-lake humps, Dunn's Bar, Second Point, Really bars. But a lot of the fish I've been hearing about are coming out of the Warner Breakwall, Governor's Island, the mud flats up here on the north side, this whole shoreline from the state park down to Fox Bluff. I mean, I guess I could just go on, but they're Picnic Point. The University Shoreline's been good. Tenney Park Breakwall's been great. A lot of those fish coming at night. But yeah, the walleye bite has been great lately, and yeah, it's probably just going to continue to improve while we still have open water. Also, the smallmouth bass have just been out of control lately. A lot of big fish coming out of shallow water. Some shallow water, um, less than a foot. I've been hearing about bass. People seeing a bass's back break the surface as they come in to smash lures. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. And still some largemouth bass being caught too, where you can find weeds. The pike bite remains fantastic out here. A lot of 20 to 30-inch fish, but I've been hearing more and more. Every week I hear about at least a couple pike in that 40-inch class being caught out here. So I also saw a guy came in the other day with a photo of a tiger muskie he caught down here to the Tenney breakwall. So that was kind of cool. Those are super cool fish, and of course, really beautiful. Um, the river on the isthmus here continues to produce a nice mixed bag of fish, panfish, some walleyes in there, the occasional bass, and been hearing about muskie sightings through here. I don't hear about a lot of people fishing in there, but I do hear about some nice fish swimming around up and down the river there. Some small bluegills and largemouth bass in the Tenney Park Lagoon per usual. Some good action where the Yahara dumps out over here. Also, down on Monona, we have still a decent perch bite and bluegill bite where you can find weeds all around the lake up shallow. Been hearing about some great walleye action down on the south end of the lake, all the way from Law Park over here, past the terrace, John Nolan Drive, along the shoreline down here by Olin Park. A lot of fish coming out of there lately, and or not as many as Mendota, but some nicer fish. I've been hearing them all the way up to 30 inches, so some real dandies. A lot of those fish coming at night. The triangles down here are producing more and more bluegills and crappies, as is the Brittingham Park area in Monona Bay. And can't forget about the Monona Terrace Wall. Some good bluegills during the day, and crappies been turning up at night out there pretty good. Lake Wingra, haven't heard a ton coming out of here, but you know, some smaller muskies generally in there. Some good largemouth action, and of course, all the tiny panfish you can catch if you want to keep a kid busy. Haven't heard too much out of Turtle or Squaw Bays, but the muskie bite on Monona continues to be great. A lot of the fish I hear about continue to be more on the south end, but there are fish being caught all over the lake, I'm sure. Down to Waubesa, Mud Lake over here, these flats, weed flats out here. The weeds are starting to die back, but they're still getting largemouth out there. And of course, the dredge hole up here, always kind of a fish magnet, and been hearing about some great panfish action coming out of the dredge hole. Haven't heard much out of Lake Farm area specifically, but Waubesa in general has been producing some good walleyes and bluegills and perch all around the lake. Look for them where you can find weeds and any structure. Also, yeah, I've been hearing about walleyes in the Hog Island area and out from Babcock. I did want to mention too that I heard that the county pulled all of their piers too. So Lake Farm doesn't have piers in, Goodland doesn't, but Babcock still has piers, and I guess they leave those in right up until ice up because that water stays open in there. But I guess that goes for around the chain. Any other county park, Mendota County Park, I guess, or that doesn't have launches. But anyway, county parks also have pulled their piers. Kegonsa continues to be kind of a mystery. Sometimes I hear about folks getting into some good panfish. Other times, folks are getting skunked. A lot of small yellow bass out there right now, so it's kind of got to sort through them. But I've also been hearing about the occasional decent night of walleye fishing around the state park and anywhere else you can find structure shallow. But yeah, Kegonsa, I guess, kind of still a mystery. Been hearing about some fish coming out of the Stoughton area down there to the Yahara and the dam. Dunkirk, too. Been hearing about some fish down there, the Dunkirk Dam. Otherwise, over to the Rock River. Lake Koshkonong's been pretty slow from what I hear. The water's pretty low down there, but still getting some fish on the mouth of the Rock River. I've been hearing about some good action for walleyes, white bass, and catfish between Fort Atkinson and Jefferson, the Jefferson Dam in particular. Otherwise, up to the Wisconsin River, same deal as usual. It's been a great mixed bag up near the Prairie du Sac Dam. and down from there. But I had a couple friends fishing the dam yesterday, and gosh, I bet they caught 9 different species of fish. So real nice mixed bag up there: walleyes, bass, sturgeon, uh, sheepshead, white bass, everything coming out of there lately. And some good muskies I hear about that area too. Downriver too, muskies and pike are snapping. Look for deep water around sandbars, corners, rocks, and drop-offs. Wood, also a pretty safe bet. Up the river here in Lake Wisconsin, been hearing about some great walleye actions really heating up there. Walleyes and sauger. Got to sort through a lot of smaller fish, but generally the action up there has been pretty great. Also been hearing about some panfish starting to move into areas like the fingers over here and the grade. Haven't heard much out of Portage to the Dells area specifically, but have been hearing about a few walleyes starting to turn up at the Wisconsin Dells Dam. So that's typical this time of year. All the dams you're going to find fish backed up at. Castle Rock, Pettenwell, no different. Same mixed bag of fish. Great areas to target this time of year in the fall. Castle Rock Lake, haven't heard much specifically out of there, but the bite on Pettenwell sounds like it's heating up. It has been here for the last month or two. The green water is starting to clear up and walleyes are snapping. Been hearing about good numbers of walleyes shallow in the low light hours and a little deeper during the midday. Also, some good crappies being caught around Pettenwell and I guess on Castle Rock a little bit too along Wood. So some great fishing to be had up there. Over to the Mississippi River, walleye action continues to heat up and down the river from La Crosse down to Prairie du Chien. So that's going to increase as we get closer to ice up. But also been hearing about some great crappie and perch action coming out of the river there. Over to Milwaukee, the kings are pretty much done running up the rivers. The Chinook salmon have pretty much done their thing. There's probably still some moldy fish swimming around in there, some zombies, but the cohos are pushed up there pretty good now from what I hear, and I guess they need to wait for 44-degree water before they can actually spawn, so they're just kind of hanging out, waiting for the water to cool down. But I've been hearing good reports of cohos in the river up and down the east coast here. Also steelhead and brown trout moving in to feed on those salmon eggs. The brown trout will spawn, and a lot of those steelhead will hang out all winter until they spawn in the spring. Green Bay, fantastic walleye fishery up there. Big fish are snapping right now. Also a great muskie fishery. So if you want to take a trip, that'd be a great place to go check out. Go check out for some real trophy fish up there. I guess trout fishing around the area with trout season closed, pretty slow as far as it goes around here. You can always go to Iowa. They got some great fishing over there. Just a pretty short drive, really, from the west side of Madison, hour and a half. You're on trout water over there. But I have been hearing about some nice brown trout coming out of Devil's Lake. Those fish are up shallow, cruising the shorelines, looking for spawning areas and getting ready to do their thing. But I've been hearing a couple reports about those fish being caught pretty readily, and minnows being, walleye minnows being, and crappie minnows being kind of the hottest bait there. Otherwise, I guess that's it. If you have any questions, feel free to call the shop. Otherwise, post your comments and catches below. Love to see how everybody's doing out there. Fall's a great time to be out on the water. We only have, looks like maybe only a few nice days left here, so get out and enjoy it. And good luck to you. Thanks for tuning in, and we will talk next week. Thanks so much.